Hi, I'm Ola. I'm an indie game developer. I mostly right now just do dress up games, so not real games. I make the games over at dulldivine.com, but there aren't many of us female game developers, so you're kind of stuck with me, aren't you? A few weeks ago, I posted the Tropes versus Women on my website's Facebook page, and I was surprised that there's a lot of negative feedback on it from even from female users. My user base is largely female, and even other women were kind of opposed to it. And I found that interesting because me myself, when I watch the videos, I kind of get angry, but I didn't really understand why that is. So I spent a lot of time analyzing and thinking, why would that make me angry? I mean, she's looking out for me and other women. I don't understand where the negative reaction comes from. And I think there's such a negative backlash because of the implications of the reasons behind the things Anita's saying are happening. I think she's spot on about talking about the symptom and characterizing the symptom because there are very few female characters, very few female protagonists, and the ones that are there are usually underdeveloped and weak. That's true. I think she's spot on with that. But I think the problem is the implications she's making are very, very harsh because she's implying that the game developers are sexist themselves, that they think less of women, that they think women are less capable. And by using the term misogyny, she's implying that they even go so far as to hate women. And this is a really serious accusation. It's very insulting to someone to hear, even if it's not said directly, especially because it's not said directly. It's kind of implied. And it's kind of hurtful to people to hear that. I personally think that even, the nastiest trolls that she's getting don't hate women. They deep inside would probably love to have a wonderful female companion to share their video game passion with. They might just not have the social skills to do it yet, and they don't communicate themselves very well. But I don't think any of the game developers really hate women. So why is there such a low representation of women in video games? Well, I personally believe that it's because there are very few female game developers. And why is that? Well, a lot of people imply that it's a boys' club now and it's hard to get in and they'll, discriminate against you. And maybe there's some of that going on. I don't have too much experience in the professional video game industry, so I don't know. But I do have a lot of experience in the indie game development scene, and I have to tell you that there is nothing holding women back from becoming indie game developers. When I started, I would dabble in it in high school, and I would make adventure games, and nobody ever trolled me for being a woman. They would just play my game, give me honest feedback, and it wasn't really an issue. And then I kind of left it for a few years, but when I went back now, I go to these great local indie game developer meetups. I don't ever feel discriminated against at all in any way, shape, or form. If anything, I get perks, and I find it very easy to network. But even without any barriers, there are very few women who come out to these meetups. Like 1%, 2%, very small number. And the only conclusion left is that simply women are not as drawn to game development as men are. And I don't think there's any magical barrier. I think it's just biological. Some jobs attract some genders more than others. It's always been that way. I think it will always be that way to a certain extent. And because more game developers happen to be male, there happen to be more male-dominated plots. I think if the field was dominated by women, women are no better. There would be just as many horribly written stories, just the reverse. It seems like it's a real talent to be able to both develop and write for characters of both genders, but usually people tend to write what they know. And personally, I'd rather people write the developer makes a character that is relatable and realistic from their experience rather than force themselves. I'm really not a fan of the token character because it's usually very see-through. I mean, if you're going to have a token character, whether it be, a race or gender or whatever, if you're not going to write for that person well because you don't know, you're just stuffing them with safe lines that they're just going to say to just be there, I'd rather not be there at all. Like, I don't want you to stick in a female character if she's just gonna sort of say stupid female things because you aren't good enough of a writer to talk for her. Don't force it. You can't force these things. It has to be natural. But that being said, I think what Anita's doing is good, and I think these videos will make sort of writers aware, if nothing else, of the cliched story types that have been sort of beaten to death, and will make them think outside the box. But out of the indie game developers I know, of whom mostly are male, none of them actually make these sorts of mistakes. I haven't seen any of them release a damsel in distress. They all have very unique storylines because they're very talented people who are doing their own thing on their own time. I'm not really sure why the bigger game companies attract sort of less creative writers. It doesn't make much sense, but that seems to be how it is. But I think inherently people are good, and no one hates women, and no one's trying. There are conspiracies out there, don't get it twisted, but I don't think this is one of them. I think it's just something that's happening. So yeah, great description of symptom, bad shaming in describing, implying what the cause is. And for the future, I myself am not even interested in them releasing, big games with female leads. I don't even play those games. I don't really like them. I'm more interested in different types of games. I hope to see or create more sort of building games, more games that use your creativity, cool stuff. I like the way Minecraft and stuff is heading in that whole direction of crafting. So if you are a lady, maybe write in the comments what kind of games you would like to see, or if you would like to see a female lead in big games, write that too. I'm just kind of interested what other people are excited about maybe creating or would like to see created. Alright, see ya!